My name is Emma, and I grew up believing that my grandmother Dorothy was losing her mind. That's what everyone in the family said anyway. Every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, every summer barbecue in Portland, Oregon, the whispers would start the moment Grandma left the room. "She's not all there anymore," my Aunt Linda would say, tapping her temple with that pitying look people reserve for the elderly. "Found her talking to herself again at the grocery store," Uncle Mike would add, shaking his head. "It's getting worse," my mother would just sigh deeply. "We really need to think about what's best for her. She can't live alone much longer." I was 28 years old, working as a junior architect at a firm downtown, living in a cramped studio apartment that cost more than it should. I loved my grandmother, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't wonder sometimes if they were right. Grandma Dorothy was 79, living alone in that big old house in the Alberta Arts District, the one she'd lived in for nearly 50 years. But lately, things had been different. The last time I visited, about 3 weeks before everything changed, I found her standing in her garden, completely still, staring at nothing. The October rain was coming down in that typical Portland drizzle, and she wasn't even wearing a jacket. "Grandma," I called out, hurrying toward her with an umbrella. She turned to me, and for just a moment, her eyes looked distant, clouded. Then she smiled, that warm smile that had comforted me through scraped knees and middle school heartbreaks. "Emma, sweetheart, I was just thinking." "About what?" I asked, holding the umbrella over both of us. "About what matters," she said simply, then walked back toward the house without another word. That night, when I mentioned it to my mother during our weekly phone call, she practically exploded. "See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Standing in the rain, talking nonsense. Emma, we need to start looking at facilities. The property value in that neighborhood has skyrocketed. We could get at least $1 million for it, maybe more. That would more than cover assisted living, and there'd be plenty left over to divide among the family." Something about the way she said, "divide among the family," made my stomach turn. "Grandma's still sharp, Mom. She recognizes everyone. She handles her own bills, for now. But we need to plan ahead, Emma. Be realistic." I hung up feeling uneasy, but I pushed it aside. I had a big presentation at work that could make or break my career. I told myself I'd visit Grandma again soon, but the weeks got away from me. Then came the phone call that changed everything. It was a rainy Tuesday evening in late October when my phone rang. Grandma Dorothy's name appeared on the screen, which was unusual. "Grandma, everything okay?" "Emma." Her voice was clear, steady, more focused than I'd heard it in months. "I need you to come to the house tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock. It's important. Is something wrong? Are you hurt?" "I'm fine, but I need to see you. Just you. Don't tell your mother or anyone else. Can you promise me that?" The intensity in her voice caught me off guard. Yes, of course. I promise. 6 o'clock, Emma. Don't be late." She hung up before I could ask anything else. The next day at work was torture. I kept glancing at the clock, watching the minutes crawl by. By 5:30, I was in my car, fighting through rush hour traffic toward the Alberta Arts District. The neighborhood had transformed over the years into one of Portland's trendiest districts. The old house stood out, its paint slightly faded, its garden wild compared to the manicured lawns around it. I pulled into the driveway at exactly 6 o'clock. Grandma answered the door before I could knock. She was dressed neatly in slacks and a cardigan, her silver hair pulled back in its usual bun. But something about her was different. Her eyes were sharp, focused, almost fierce. "Come in," she said quietly. "We don't have much time." The house smelled like it always did, lavender, old books, and cedar. But the atmosphere felt different tonight, heavy, expectant. Grandma led me to the living room, where she'd set up tea and cookies. But she didn't sit down. Instead, she walked to the mantelpiece and picked up an envelope, thick, legal-sized, clearly important. "Sit down, Emma," she said. I obeyed, my heart pounding. Up close, I could see that her hands were steady, her gaze clear. This wasn't the confused woman my family had been describing. This was the grandmother I remembered, sharp, purposeful, in complete control. "I need you to listen very carefully," she began, settling into the armchair across from me. "And I need you to trust me, even when what I tell you sounds impossible." "Grandma, you're scaring me." "Good. You should be a little scared, because what I'm about to tell you will change everything." She paused, studying my face. "Your mother, your aunt, your uncle, they've been planning to have me declared incompetent. Did you know that?" I felt the blood drain from my face. What? Linda has been calling Adult Protective Services, making reports about my declining mental state. Mike has been consulting with lawyers about guardianship. Your mother has been meeting with real estate agents, getting the house appraised. She said all of this calmly, as if reciting a grocery list. They think I don't know. They think I'm too far gone to notice. That can't be right, I protested. But even as I said it, I remembered all those hushed conversations. It's been going on for 6 months, Emma, ever since the neighborhood property values started climbing. This house, the house I bought with your grandfather 47 years ago for $38,000, is now worth $1.3 million, maybe more. The number hit me like a physical blow. They want to sell it, Grandma continued. Put me in a home, divide the money, tell themselves they did the right thing. She leaned forward. But here's what they don't know. I've been perfectly aware the entire time. Every whispered conversation, every pitying look, I heard it all. I understood it all. Then why didn't you say something? Because I needed to know the truth about who they really were. Her voice cracked slightly. I needed to see if any of them would stand up for me, if any of them truly cared about me as a person, not as an inheritance. I felt sick. Grandma, your mother came to visit last month. I tested her, Emma. I pretended to be confused about what day it was. Within 10 minutes, she was on the phone in the kitchen, telling Linda that it was time to move forward with the plan. A single tear rolled down her weathered cheek. My own daughter couldn't wait to put me away. But you, Grandma said, her voice softening, you never once treated me like I was stupid. Even when you were busy, you never spoke to me like I was a child. You never looked at me with pity. You just loved me. Of course I love you, I whispered. She stood up and held out the envelope. That's why I'm giving you this. My hands trembled as I took it. Inside were several documents, official, notarized, intimidating. I recognized the top one immediately, a property deed. I'm transferring the house to you, Grandma said, along with my savings account and investment portfolio. Everything is in this envelope. As of 3 days ago, you are the sole owner of this property and beneficiary of my estate. I couldn't breathe. Grandma, I can't. You can, and you will. I've also included documents proving my mental competency, cognitive tests from 3 different doctors, all dated within the last month. I scored perfectly on every single one. If your mother or aunt or uncle try to challenge this, they'll lose. But the family, they'll be furious. They'll think I manipulated you. Let them think whatever they want. They showed me who they really are. She sat down beside me, taking my hand. Emma, I'm not doing this to be cruel. I'm doing this because you're the only one who saw me as a person. You're the only one who deserves it. I was crying now. I don't care about the money or the house, Grandma. I just want you to be okay. I know, sweetheart. That's exactly why it's yours. She squeezed my hand. Now here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, your mother will call you. She and Linda have scheduled a family meeting to discuss my care options. That's when they're planning to tell me about the guardianship petition. What do? You go to the meeting, you listen, and when the time is right, you tell them the truth. She stood up, walking to the window. I'm not going anywhere, Emma. I'm staying right here in my home. And now that it's legally yours, there's nothing they can do about it. The meeting was scheduled for Saturday afternoon at my parents' house in the suburbs. Mom had called Wednesday morning, just as Grandma predicted. Emma, honey, we need to talk about Grandma. Can you come by Saturday around 2? It's time we all had a serious conversation about her future. I agreed, my stomach churning. I'd read through every document a dozen times. Grandma had been planning this for months, carefully documenting her mental competency, meeting with lawyers, ensuring everything was ironclad. Saturday arrived with clear skies. I drove to my parents' house in Lake Oswego. Linda and Mike were already there, sitting in the living room with serious expressions. Emma, my mother said, kissing my cheek. Thanks for coming. This is important. We all sat down. Finally, Linda cleared her throat. We've all been concerned about Mom. She's getting worse. Last week, Mike found her wearing 2 different shoes at the grocery store, and she keeps forgetting to lock her doors at night, Mom added. Anyone could just walk in. I bit my tongue, remembering what Grandma had said about tests. We've consulted with an elder care attorney, Uncle Mike said, pulling out documents. We can file for guardianship. It's about keeping her safe. And the house? I asked quietly. Mom and Linda exchanged a glance. Well, Mom said carefully, The neighborhood has become quite valuable. It wouldn't make sense to keep such a large property. We could sell it, get her into a wonderful facility. To divide among the family, I finished. To handle any future care needs, Linda corrected, but her cheeks flushed. When were you going to tell Grandma about this plan? Today, actually, Uncle Mike said. We're heading over there after this. We wanted to make sure we were all on the same page first. I took a deep breath. You can't sell the house. Honey, I know you're attached to it, Mom said patronizingly. But we have to be practical. No, Mom. I mean, you legally cannot sell the house because Grandma doesn't own it anymore. The room went silent. What are you talking about? Linda demanded. I pulled the envelope from my bag and set it on the coffee table. 3 days ago, Grandma transferred the deed to me. The house is mine, along with her savings and investment portfolio. My mother's face went white. That's impossible. She can't make legal decisions like that. She's not competent. Actually, she is. I pulled out the cognitive assessment reports. 3 separate doctors evaluated her last month. She scored perfectly on every test. There's also a video recording of her meeting with the attorney, clearly stating her intentions while obviously of sound mind. You manipulated her, Linda hissed, standing up. You convinced a confused old woman. I didn't know anything about it until Wednesday, I said calmly. Grandma planned this herself. She's been planning it for months. This is insane, Uncle Mike said, grabbing the documents. We'll challenge it. You'll lose, I said. Everything is airtight, and if you try to fight it, these recordings of your conversations about selling the house and dividing the money will become public record. My mother's hands were shaking. Why would she do this? We were trying to help her. Were you? I stood up facing her. Because from where I'm standing, you were trying to cash in. You were so busy seeing her as an inconvenient burden that you never actually looked at her. She's not declining, Mom. She's been testing you, all of you, and you failed. How dare you, Linda spat. We've been taking care of her. No, you've been planning how to liquidate her assets. My voice was rising. She stood in the garden in the rain because she wanted to see if anyone would ask what she was thinking about instead of just assuming she was confused. She wore mismatched shoes to see if you'd help her or just use it as evidence. Every single thing you pointed to was actually a test to see if you still saw her as a person. The silence was deafening. I can't believe this, my mother finally whispered. My own mother. She wasn't manipulating you. She was protecting herself from people who stopped seeing her as human the moment they saw dollar signs. And you're so high and mighty, Linda shouted. You barely visited her. The accusation stung. You're right, I admitted. I should have visited more. But when I was there, I talked to her like she was a person. I listened to her. I didn't treat her like an inconvenient problem. My father, who'd been silent, finally spoke. What happens now? Now Grandma stays in her house, where she wants to be. I'll help her with anything she needs, but she's staying in her home. And what do you get out of this? Linda demanded. $1 million property? Don't act like you're being noble. I offered to give it back, I said quietly. The first thing I said was that I didn't want it, but she insisted, because apparently I'm the only person in this family who made her feel like she still mattered. I left and drove straight to Grandma's. She answered the door with a knowing look. I'm guessing it didn't go well, she said. That's an understatement. I collapsed onto the familiar couch. Mom's not speaking to me. Linda called me some names I won't repeat. Uncle Mike threatened to sue. Let him try. Grandma sat beside me. I'm sorry you had to be the one to tell them, but I needed them to hear it from you. I feel like I just destroyed the family. No, sweetheart. They did that themselves. She was quiet for a moment. Your mother called me right after you left. She was crying, asking how I could do this to her. What did you say? I asked her if she remembered the last time she visited, when I pretended to be confused. Do you know what she did? She walked through every room taking photos for the real estate listing. I closed my eyes. I asked her if she remembered my birthday last year. She forgot it completely. But when I mentioned how much the house had appreciated, she called back within an hour. Grandma's voice was steady, but I could hear the pain. I gave her so many chances. She failed every single one. Do you think she'll ever forgive me? I don't know. Maybe. But Emma, you did the right thing. And years from now, you'll understand why I had to do this. We sat in silence, listening to the sounds of the house. So, what happens now? I finally asked. Now, we live our lives. I stay in my home. You visit when you can, not out of obligation. but because you want to. And when I eventually do need help, you'll make sure I'm treated with dignity. That's all I ever wanted. I promise, Grandma. Over the following weeks, the family fallout was worse than I'd anticipated. My mother refused to speak to me. Linda sent hostile text messages before I finally blocked her. Uncle Mike consulted with a lawyer, but they had no case. The hardest part was the loneliness. Holiday invitations stopped coming. Phone calls went unanswered. I was persona non grata, the ungrateful granddaughter who'd stolen their inheritance. But I spent more time with Grandma, and slowly, I began to see things I'd missed. The way her eyes lit up when she talked about her spring garden, the pride when she showed me old neighborhood photos, the sharpness of her political opinions, her jokes, her observations. She wasn't declining. She wasn't fading. She was fully alive, fully herself, just older. In February, something unexpected happened. My father called. "Emma," he said, his voice heavy. "Can we talk?" We met at a coffee shop downtown. He looked tired, older than I remembered. "Your mother is still furious. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But I wanted you to know, I've been thinking about everything you said, about how we treated Dorothy." "Dad," let me finish. He took a sip of coffee. "I was so caught up in the practical concerns, safety, financial planning, being responsible. I told myself we were doing the right thing, but you were right. We stopped seeing her as a person. We saw a problem that needed solving." Tears pricked my eyes. "Thank you for saying that. I want to visit her, if she'll let me. Not to talk about money or the house, just to talk to her. Really talk to her. Can you ask her if that would be okay?" I did, and to my surprise, Grandma agreed. That first visit was awkward, stilted, but slowly, over weeks and months, they began rebuilding something. Not what it was before, that was broken beyond repair, but something new, something more honest. My mother never did come around. The last I heard, she'd stopped speaking about Grandma entirely, as if she'd died. Linda and Mike followed suit, but Grandma thrived. She joined a book club. She volunteered at the community center. She became friends with the young couple next door, occasionally babysitting their toddler. As for me, I moved into the house's converted attic space. It made sense practically. I could help Grandma with anything she needed, save on rent, and actually enjoy the property. But more than that, it felt right. One evening in late spring, almost a year after that first meeting, Grandma and I sat on the front porch watching the sunset. The garden was blooming, roses and lavender and all the flowers she'd been planting. "Do you ever regret it?" I asked. "Cutting them out?" She was quiet for a long moment. "I regret that it was necessary. I regret that my own children cared more about money than about me. But I don't regret protecting myself, and I don't regret giving you this house." "Why me, really?" "Because you saw me, Emma. In a world that treats old people like furniture, you looked at me and saw a person still worth listening to. That's more valuable than any amount of money." She squeezed my hand. "And because I trust you to remember me correctly. When I'm gone, your mother will rewrite history. She'll tell herself she was the devoted daughter and I was the cruel mother. But you'll know the truth. You'll remember." "I'll remember," I promised. 2 years have passed since that day. Grandma is still here, still sharp, still insisting on tending her own garden. We have dinner together most nights. Sometimes my father joins us, rebuilding the relationship he nearly destroyed. I think about my mother sometimes. Wonder if she ever realized what she lost. Wonder if she ever understood that she traded her mother for money she never even got. The house is worth even more now, probably close to $2 million. Developers call regularly. I delete the messages without responding. Because this isn't about money. It never was. It's about a grandmother who refused to be invisible, who demanded to be seen, respected, treated like a human being, who taught me that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let people show you who they really are, and then believe them. My mother's final words to me were, "You'll understand when you're older. You'll see that we were trying to do the right thing." But I'm older now, and I understand perfectly. I understand that when someone tells you they're not all there anymore, you should look closely at who's making that claim and why. I understand that property deeds aren't just legal documents. They're statements about value, about who matters. Most importantly, I understand that my grandmother, at 79, facing betrayal from her own children, found the strength to stand up for herself, to test those around her, to protect her independence and dignity. She wasn't declining. She wasn't fading. She was just waiting to see who was still paying attention. And when she handed me that property deed in silence, it wasn't just real estate she was giving me. It was a responsibility, a trust, a belief that I would do better than those who came before me. I wake up every morning in this house grateful for the lesson, grateful for the trust, grateful that when my grandmother needed someone to see her, really see her, I was paying attention. They said she wasn't all there. They were wrong. She was completely, brilliantly, courageously herself. And she always had been.